All right, we are live here on LinkedIn. I am so excited to be here today. It is snowing outside. It's so beautiful. I'm joined with our incredible media strategist, Kara Brock, who has been a member of the Nardi Media team for many years. And today, this is a topic I've been dying to speak about. We're talking all about AI and PR, what we have seen as a team, how we use it, the trends that we're seeing in AI and PR, because every industry has been hit with AI in a different way. I have seen ethical implications around this. I've also seen it make my personal life easier. So, Kara, I'm so excited to dive into this conversation today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ashley. I'm really excited to be talking about this with you too. This is, I think, the hottest topic.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so let's set the stage and just let our audience know a little bit about you. Obviously, I think you're incredible rock star media strategist who's been with us for years, but share a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so I am LA based. I have been doing PR for my entire career, which is 10 years. I have touched on many different industries, like from sports and entertainment to lifestyle, but now I would say my focus lies really in business, climate change, and of course, books.
Of course, yeah. If you're at Nardi Media, you're doing some books, which is so much fun. All right, thank you for that, Kara. And I'm joining here from the East Coast. We've got West Coast here. I love it, covering across the whole country. So, Kara, let's talk AI. What are
Yeah.
you? Well, let's talk about it because I feel like it just came in hot, and we were like, oh my god, what do we do with it? What was your first impression when it was introduced to you as it relates to your career in PR?
Oh, when I first saw this, I was like, well, first I was like a little skeptical, but then I was like, this is like magic.
Yeah.
I'm literally waving my magic wand and seeing all these things come out. And, you tell it to do something and it does in seconds what would take you to do hours.
Yeah.
And I think as PR people, as anyone in business and in other professions, industries, we are very strapped for time. And
Mm-hmm.
when you can find quick fixes and things like that, I think it can get a little bit easy to get carried away.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to talk today about just some really important do's and don'ts because there are some ways to really effectively use AI.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. And we have done a lot of experimenting. I've been pretty vocal about it with the team and also publicly about how we don't use AI. Tell me about what you see as some of the effective ways that we can use AI in our PR craft.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if you think of AI as your digital personal assistant, like think of it as your personal curated Google. Use it for research. Like if you need to see the top tech events in Las Vegas for this year, great. I mean, you still need to double check that the AI is like getting you the right events because it still makes some mistakes and it does some pretty big creative liberties at times too, which we'll get into a little bit. But yeah, research, great tool to double check.
Yep.
Um, I would also say use it to organize. Like, let's say you have a ton of information in this Google Doc. The Google Doc's gotten a little out of hand and you want it streamlined in a grid. Ask ChatGPT to build you a template and it can do that. And then you can dump all that info in there.
That's you're
Um,
so brilliant. Sorry, I'm just like that's been one of my favorite things because organization is not my strong suit, creativity is, and to have that little tool assistant be like, put this in chronological order for me. Oh my gosh, like
mhm.
life changing. Okay, sorry, continue.
Exactly. Yeah. And saves you a ton of time too.
Yeah.
I, yeah. Um, I would also say use it as a thesaurus or a dictionary. Like, let's say you are hung up, you can't stop using a certain word or phrase, which happens to us a lot when we're developing messaging, but you don't want to be repetitive. Um, Ask it for a fresh synonym. It will come up with a ton, and then you can use that. Um, Ask it, like, let's say you're not really understanding the history of something and you need to draft some messaging points or you want to sound well versed in it. Ask it to give you a rundown, but
Mhm.
always ask it for some sources because as we know, it does take some creative liberties. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I found is that For me, I look for, okay, what are some awareness days and holidays? That's great. Like, cause it's like National Nutrition Month or Women's Health Month, or like, give me some awareness days, holidays for fall. And it'll say that, but you definitely want to check the source. And especially if you are, asking it for research, like, hey, what are some recent data or studies? Get the source and then make sure it's a reputable source, because often in PR, we like to tie pitches to data. And you just want to make sure that data is not just somebody who's sitting at home creating something. It needs to be a reputable source. That's how at least I've used it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What are some other, are you seeing any other ways that you're loving using it?
Yeah, I think sometimes, like, let's say I want to put together, like, let's say I'm trying to brainstorm and I'm coming up short on creative ideas. Sometimes it can give me, like, maybe the seed of an idea. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. But not relying on it to build the entire idea itself. Um, there's also times when I will ask it, like, maybe for feedback on
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I missing something here that I didn't see?
Yep.
Or and I think and we'll get into the writing aspect of it too, but if you put in maybe like an original sentence you wrote and you say, "Can you check this for typos or grammar errors?" I think it could be a really useful tool for that too.
Yeah, I think it's really great checking grammar and typos for like emails that you're responding back and forth with people. I think that's awesome. Any others before we move into some of the don'ts? I think there's a lot of don'ts, but I want to make
Yeah.
sure we're covering off on all of the do's, because I think the general consensus from us, from you especially so far, is like, it's great as a personal assistant and as a tool. And there's an and. You always, you do need to fact check. It makes our lives easier. It saves time, but it just comes with that and that you need to double check certain things.
Yeah, I would say, and this gets into some of the like, and I covered this a little bit, but it is really good at making itineraries. Like,
Yes.
so if you are really struggling with like, I'm putting together this really detailed itinerary for a client in New York, will they have enough time to like get to the car or et cetera, et cetera? Like, I think it can be really helpful on that
I
as
didn't even think about that. Like putting different addresses in, and the client needs to go
well.
from this Fox News in New York all the way up to CBS and back. Like,
But they want to have a coffee and yeah,
genius.
exactly.
Yeah, where can they stop for coffee? It's like, yeah, that is amazing. And it is such a great time saving tool, because for what we do here at Nardi Media, our time is best spent pitching and also coming up with creative pitch ideas. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about pitch writing, because we
So
experimented with this and I'm so curious for your thoughts.
So I think we've established use ChatGPT as your personal assistant, not as your spokesperson.
That's right.
Um, so do not, under any circumstances, use it to write a press pitch. Everyone can tell ChatGPT jargon, and I can give some dead giveaways like the words delve, swift, use of emojis that make no sense, like a rocket ship or the arm muscle. Things like sentence transitions, like the book is not only a testament to growth, it's also XYZ. It's that not only transition that's a bit of a
Yeah.
giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
When colons say something like DEI today, colon, in a new landscape,
Mm-hmm.
like as a subject line. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but like journalists are some of the most educated people like on our planet. They can tell right off the bat. And like if we are reaching out to them, like if authenticity is one of our biggest value adds, how can they expect us to be authentic in our message if our first point of contact in a pitch isn't authentic and human first?
100%. I couldn't
So
agree with you more.
we like, and when people are close with journalists, like you can even pitch them via a text, like,
Mhm.
hey, saw something. Like, a pitch doesn't always have to be the most formal thing it is. I mean, back in the day, like in the 90s, I think people picked up the phone.
Yeah, well,
But
and they wrote press releases, because I remember getting like when I was at CBS News, my first job there was literally collecting the press releases for the fax machine.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I think just that human first element is gold. That's vital.
It is. Yeah. And to that point, Kara, it's the writing. I mean, that's our craft here. Like at Nardi is like, I think we're excellent writers. And yeah, I've experimented with AI too, I found the exact same thing. So much jargon, so much extra words. And I looked at it through a journalist's eye and I was like, this is so obviously written by AI. And the other thing is that there's AI trackers out there. I actually learned about them through a dear friend of mine who's a high school English teacher. And she's like, oh yeah, I use AI trackers all the time now with my students. What makes you think a journalist wouldn't, or even a client? And we're getting paid for our writing. So that's why Nardi Media has put a very strict policy in place that when it comes to writing your pitches, they will not be written by AI. They will be written by a human. Your press releases written by a human, because that is our craft. That is what you pay us for. And also that human element is how we connect with journalists. We are in the business of relationships. There are not robots and AI. AI is not booking media interviews. I mean, maybe one day they will, and we will adapt to that, certainly. But as of right now, it is still a human to human connection through the power of communication. And that is our craft. That is our zone of genius, which is why we have implemented that policy. And then the last thing, and I want to get your reaction to this, is also with AI, you do have to worry about dropping in proprietary information as it relates to yourself, as it relates to your clients. You don't own that information. AI, Chat GPT does. So whatever you're dropping in there, that can end up somewhere on the internet one day when it gets hacked. And so you need to be very careful about what you're putting in there, which is another reason why, from a pitching perspective for our clients, we do not use AI to write our pitches. What are all of your thoughts? I want to get your reaction, Kara.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, unlike a reporter, AI doesn't have to agree to an embargo.
Yeah.
It doesn't. So I think another thing to keep in mind is like you said, now AI has that info that they're going to aggregate and share and spread everywhere. You
Yeah.
know, if you don't like, and it's a little bit back to what we were saying though, like if you're using AI to write things, you're not sharing original ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Why should a journalist or the public come to you if you don't have something new to say?
That's right.
And I'm speaking to everyone when I say this, but yeah, especially as we get more and more concerned about data and security and data breaks and leaks and hacks. I think just as an abundance of caution, do not put this info into the AI. Like if you are one of those people who has like a password keeper and you are super like on top of that, why would you put it into the AI?
Yeah, you don't need to. I totally agree. Do you have any other don'ts around AI that's like, hey, avoid this if you're in the PR industry?
Yeah, I would say, and this kind of should go without saying, but a lot of the times we have written email interviews. I would say do not use it to write a written interview response.
Oh, golden. Yeah, sorry, keep going. I got excited.
Yeah, we are all hard pressed for time, but like that goes even further than like the press pitch, and it can be obvious to a journalist. They also, I think, are subject to their editors who are running things through AI trackers for their
That's
own
right.
work too.
That's right. I've even seen some submission guidelines saying that, like, we will not accept this if it's written by AI. Like, we will find out. We will find you. Like, we will know. And so that's really good for anyone who is considering hiring a PR team. You got to have the time to work with the PR team and do your own original work, because if you're just spitting out AI responses to submit, you're never going to get a media placement. You won't.
Exactly.
Okay, so I want to also talk about this because there's been so much discussion around, is AI going to steal your job? Let's talk about AI stealing your job in PR. Do you think, Kara, that AI could replace the human element of PR? Because we are in such a relationship industry. I'm curious for your thoughts before I share mine.
No. I mean, did Google take jobs in the 90s when like that was introduced in PR? It just changed. The industry
Right.
just changed.
That's right.
And I think there are already so many changes happening with media too that we have to adapt to this. This is just another one.
Yep.
I think that admin tasks are going to become more and more obsolete. And maybe this is me being just naively, hopefully optimistic, but this will give us more time to institute those creative ideas for clients, do more pitching, and do more of the work that we are paid to do.
I agree. I think will it ever fully replace us? No, because I do believe at the core of what we do, communications and relationships, is a quality that only humans have, because there's like heart and soul put into it. And that's what creativity is. And at the end of the day, we are in a creative business of relationship building and writing. And and very much like how Hollywood and the writer, and all the writers in ChatGPT, like I really think that this industry is here to stay. It has longevity. And it's like, to your point, it's going to make our jobs better, in that we're probably going to be able to focus more time on our craft and less time on I'm already finding that less time on the admin work, which personally for me, being a creative, I'm like, hallelujah, I love that.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So where do you see like opportunities for AI and PR? I'm curious, like let's look ahead to the future and Kara's crystal ball as a PR expert. What do you see ahead for us?
I see it like I see certain third-party tools like Muckrack, Cision, Pod Quoted, all of that becoming leveraging AI even more and getting
Yeah,
us more accurate media lists, more accurate database, and really, yeah, that's the future I see.
I
And
do.
like
And I'm hopeful for that too, because I do think like Decisions and Muckracks and all those, they're great tools. They can certainly be better.
they can be better, and it also requires somebody with experience to go through them. Like,
Right.
for instance, somebody who writes about food business is different than someone who is a food critic. And
Exactly.
you have to have the institutional knowledge to know that. And I think the AI might be better at, yeah.
Helping us identify the
Yeah,
right person to contact if we don't already have that relationship,
exactly.
which I think is super important. Um, do you think that AI will ever lead to like a new PR role? I mean, like, do you think it could create new jobs for us as opposed to get rid of them?
I think that is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I think it'll make some of the like I said, more of the admin work a little bit more obsolete. But maybe there could be a job where somebody is just like AI handler, AI
Yeah.
coordinator, and that's what they're doing at an agency. I could
Yeah.
see that. Yeah.
I could also see someone just, it's like the AI filter, like, well, like, I don't know, that just like filtering to make sure clients' responses aren't AI before you submit to a journalist, because that's our relationship too. Or I don't, but I do see a potential role. I just don't think it's been created yet. In the meantime, I think our policy here stands. We don't use any of our writing through AI, but we're going to definitely use it to help us with an itinerary, because that's going to save time, and then we have more time to actually do the good work for our clients that we do.
100%. Yeah.
So, Kara, this has been such a great conversation. I want to like leave us with some parting words, but the one thing that you said is like AI is your assistant, not your spokesperson. I love that. That's like a mic drop moment for me from you that I've like got today. Anything else that you want to share about just your learnings with AI over the, I guess, what, past 2 years that it's been in our lives?
I think I think don't be afraid of it. Have a healthy amount of, cautiously optimistic, a healthy amount of skepticism, but use it to save time and use that time to service your clients further with creativity and other media relations opportunities.
That's right. I think that's a great place to end it, Kara. And I do think you're absolutely right. We need to embrace AI, and it's never going to replace humanity. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to say this, like, there's what's going to win. I believe in the end is what will win your job is your communication skills. Like
Yes.
I really think that, because AI can do so many other things. And at the end of the day, we have our humanity. Kindness is going to go a long way. Gracious and conscious communication is going to go a long way as well. That's what I truly believe at the end of the day is what's going to give people a leg up and make a difference, and be looked at differently in a competitive AI landscape. So
Yeah. Like we say at Nardi, PR with purpose.
PR with purpose. That is
Mhm.
right, Kara. Thank you so much for your brilliance and your genius today. I appreciate you so much. And thank you to everyone for watching. This is such a great topic. And I'm sure we'll do this again, Kara, because it's changing so quickly. So when new things are introduced, like we will be talking about it. And for anyone out there, if there's a topic that you want us to touch on here at Nardi as it relates to communications and media training and PR and media outreach, we are here for it. We want to hear from you. So drop a comment if you have any other thoughts on any other topics. We'd love to discuss them with you. Visit our website, nardimedia.com. We would love to hear from you. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a great day.